What's up, everybody? Listen, I'm going to give you a little tip about getting more sales online. The fact is this. People don't want to be told what to do. Your customers don't want to be told what to do. Now, you might be somebody that loves to be told what to do. You love facts, but your customers could care less about it. Now, they will tell you that they want facts. They will tell you that. But the truth is that just giving facts, just telling people what they should do is not going to get results. People need to be able to see it in their mind's eye. You know, I was working with a client where we were trying to help them build out their funnel, build out their system to start to get more customers online. And for 6 months, I was telling them exactly what needed to be done. Then I had this idea. What if I just share with them a story about something I did with another client? And immediately in that moment in time, the entire thing shifted. We started getting more progress. I had been telling them everything to do for 6 months, but until I had shared a story and they could visually see it, visualize in their mind's eye how to go from step 1 to 5, they finally started to take action. They had been telling me, just tell me what to do, just tell me what to do, just tell me what to do for so long. But until I stopped just giving the facts, stopped telling them what to do, I actually stopped doing what they wanted. I actually stopped people pleasing and just started sharing stories of what was working with other people. Then the breakthrough started happening. I think back, I'm like, what if I had only done that sooner? What if I had only started to share these stories sooner with that client? How much time could have been saved in that process? And many times this is where we flip it, because often we want to hear facts. We want to hear what to do. We want to hear a path of what to do. And so we think that in selling to a client, that's what they want. We think that in helping lead somebody, let's say they already bought from you, they're a customer, helping lead them to the right choice for them is the right thing to do, because that's what we want, right? That's what they even say that they want. But ultimately, people just want to know that you hear them, that you understand where they are, and that you can give them certainty and security of how they are going to get that result in the end. And so in marketing and in leadership, we need to stop just telling people what to do. We need to stop telling them this is how you do that, and start sharing stories, imparting vision to people of the choices they need to make. Start showing them. Start showing people with the words that you say. Showing somebody and telling, because there's a difference between, okay, you should do this, versus showing them will describe and build out a whole process. And so you're able to lead people along that path. And we have to realize this is an area as human beings that we actually don't fully understand, both ourselves and customers. We say, oh yeah, I want the facts, I want the truth, I want all of that. But in the end, a story that has the facts in it, right? Because the facts are still in that story, connects people to visually see it with their mind's eye, connects them to see how to move from step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you're just telling people how to do it, you're going to come across like a know-it-all, or condescending in a way that you don't understand where people are coming from. And so if you can share with people a story of how to go from here to here to here, sharing with them how they can get there by imparting that vision. It's not just about throwing facts at people, but rather bringing them along the process with you, giving them an inside look at what worked with other people that you'd work with, giving them an inside look as to what is possible with them. We might say, well, hey, I don't have all the pieces together to help this person. Start to share stories. Listen, I'm not talking about making up stories. I'm not talking about fabricating stories at all. I'm not talking about making a story that is not based on facts. But what you want to do is move people in a way that connects with them. And then here's what happens. Once you share a story, you can then come in with those facts. Share that story. So this is how I usually do it. I build it out this way. I was working with another client last week, and I shared, okay, hey, we built this for this client, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the results that they're getting. You know, we got 4,000 members in this members area. We're making $3 for every dollar spent on ads. And so if we did this, we might lose money in the first week, which is what's happening with this other client, but it's going to pay dividends 5 times what we're getting on the back end 30 days later. And so I shared with that, and then I actually showed them the whole process. Took 5 minutes to do, and now we were able to implement that with that client. And now that client is starting to get customers quicker than they were before. They had a slow trickle, 2 to 5 customers a month. We're getting 5 to 10 a day coming in now with that client, just by sharing a story. I've been trying to tell them what to do for months. Now, here's the other thing. There's an advantage of we got coronavirus going on. Everybody's kind of looking for new ways to make money, looking for new ways to do different things. Jeff says, what does that mean you make $3 for every dollar spent? Well, when I go into the ads manager and I'm running a campaign, okay, I set my budget to $100 a day for the week. I'm running that ad for $100, and in my bank account appears $300 in sales. At the end of the week, that's $700 spent, and it brings in $2,100 in sales. So that's what that means, is we bring in 3 times what we're spending. The money that comes in from sales is 3 times what we're putting out in advertising, and we pocket the difference between the rest. And so if you ever want to know how to do that, my course, Social Media Ads That Work, walks you through step by step how we're doing that with clients, how we're building campaigns that get results like that. If you want to learn how to sell more online on the internet using social media, using videos, in my group, Grow Your Life, there's over 1,000 people in there right now, and we just got through 21 days of a course that I launched called the Internet Cash Flow Formula, where I'm walking people through step by step building their offer, copywriting, reaching their target customer, how to communicate powerfully, how to tell more stories, not just facts, how to connect people to what produces sales and gets results. Listen, to get a different result than what you're getting right now, you have to do something differently than what you've done in the past. And so you got to ask yourself this. Do you want to keep trying to get results? Do you want to keep trying to find what the right method is? Or are you willing to try something different? Start telling more stories instead of just telling people what they should do. Start connecting with people, sharing with them what you've done with other people. Become a product of your product. Model the example to people of what you're telling them to do. Listen, people will follow your example when you show them, not just tell them. People will follow your example when you show them what to do, not just tell them what they need to do. Okay? And so the way that you do that is also answering people on social media. You might notice on these videos like this, I'm answering questions as they come in. Like Jeff just asked, do your ads directly sell to people, or is it more to get likes to your page? My goal is this. You might notice in this video, I lightly shared about my social media ads course. I lightly shared about my group. My landing page sells to people. My group in there, if you go through the 21 days, there's a couple times where I make an offer about my course or coaching. And so in that, the goal of the ads is to get people to see a slight little taste of what they're going to get if they buy from you. A slight taste of what they're going to get by going to the landing page. Your goal is to get more eyeballs on your offer. Your goal is to get more eyeballs on what you're putting out there. And if you can do that, if you can connect with more people, if you can connect and reach more people, not just by going straight in for the kill, so to speak, but bringing them in, inviting people in. You know, right now we're doing that with a client right now. We're running ads for a online school that they're doing. And so what we're doing is we're actually connecting people to get a free training, a free course for that. That free course does not sell them, but we have an autoresponder in there that comes in 3 days later, and that's producing sales. 30% of people that go through that are registering for the course, the paid course. And so we're marketing it that way. So the goal is, how do I get people in my ecosystem? How do I get people listening and engaging, wanting to learn more, wanting to dive deeper in? That's what the goal is with your social media, with your ads, with your landing pages. And in the Internet Cash Flow Formula, I walk you through in the Grow Your Life community how to do this, how all these pieces fit together for you, how you can move from just trying to get customers, trying to find people to take action online, to starting to get more sales. Because ultimately, that's what everybody needs. You need to make more sales in your business. You need to find the people that are ready to buy from you, targeting the exact people that are ready to purchase what you put out there. And then you communicate with them. Here's the goal. The only reason you're running an ad to somebody is to find those people and connect with them, to create a conversation both in their mental state and in the comment thread, to engage with them, to start that conversation, to catalyze those conversations. And then when you can start to show people, not just tell them, what they need to do through example, through modeling by an example, you can help people get a result. Listen, you have to detach from needing to force or make anybody do anything. You can't make anybody buy from you. You can't make anybody purchase from you. You can't make anybody take action from what you tell them to do. That's why stories are so important. When you just tell somebody what they need to do, when you just tell somebody the best thing, it only connects on a very surface level. But when you can show people with stories and you open up their mind's eye, you open up the possibilities to them of what is possible, people want to learn more. People want to learn more, to open up more. Listen, when I was building things in the beginning with this business, oftentimes I would constantly keep just telling people what they needed to hear. I have all these podcasts, and they're great. They're helping people. But until I started to connect with people and really started to validate what people were going through and experience, then I started to get more leads coming in, more sales coming in, more people scheduling calls with me, more people coaching. And so you need to start to do this. Give examples of things. Start to share the stories, what you've done with other clients, what you're doing in your business, what results you're getting. Become a model of what you're telling people. If you just tell people the truth and don't model it to them, don't show them what you're doing. Listen, if you're not an example of what you're telling people, they're not going to listen to you. It could be the most true thing in the world. It could be the number one thing that is going to transform their lives, but they're never going to take action until they can see it for themselves the way that you see it. And so that's what the purpose of stories is. That's what the purpose of connecting with people in that way is to help them see in their mind's eye, not to validate that you know what you're talking about. And I know that we all want to feel like we're smart. We want to feel like we know what we're talking about. We want people to do what we say, right? We all want that if we're trying to sell something. But just telling people facts is not going to do that. It's not going to connect with them. Because even if people say, hey, I want to hear the facts. I had a client that I was working with where they just wanted to hear the exact facts of what to do in their business. They wanted the exact, just the brass tacks of everything all the time. And we kept having to take 5 to 10 times longer to get to the point because of that, until I started sharing stories with them of how this process worked together, until I started listening to, okay, what are they going through? What are they experiencing? Until I started showing, not just telling them that I understand where they're coming from. Until I started honoring the fact that people just want clarity and validating what their needs are, validating their position, even if many times I disagreed with what they were doing or their position, by sharing stories that were connected with facts. I'm not saying stories that lie to people. Connected with facts, you can impart vision so that people see what you're talking about and move people along a path that is going to help them get more results, transform their lives, make the right and best choice for them, and ultimately, if you're in business and you do this with prospects, move them along that process to purchase from you, to buy what it is that you have to offer. We have to be willing to stop trying to just share what we know. Stop trying to just validate that we know what we're talking about when we're talking with people, and show people. Show them by what we say. How do you show somebody? Sometimes people might say, well, I need to see it visually, and then I'll do that. I'll show them that when I can do that. Not all situations permit or allow for that, right? It's not always possible to show people like things visually. So you can describe it in a certain way that shares a story. An example of that could be like if you have confidentiality contracts. You legally can't show somebody, but you can tell them that. You're in a situation where you don't have something to pull up immediately for people. We need to stop worrying about looking good to other people and trying to appear like we know what we're talking about. And here's one of the biggest things is people don't want to just know that you know what you're talking about, because that's what facts do. They want to know that you hear them, that you understand where they're coming from, that their needs of understanding what you know about is important to you. Listen, have you ever talked with somebody and you felt like they were just waiting to get in what their next thing was to tell you? That's what it's like when we just tell people facts and don't share stories and don't connect with and meet people where they're at. That's what it's like when we don't connect with people on that level. We could be sharing the most true thing, but we're not honoring where the other person is. And so we have to think about this. Even us, I'm somebody that loves facts. Tell me the facts, tell me the facts, tell me the facts. But when somebody just comes in and starts telling me what the right thing to do is and clearly shows that they don't understand where I'm coming from, right? I'm sure you're that way as well. Almost all people are. We feel dishonored, disrespected. And so your customers are the same way. Your customers feel that same way. No matter what you're telling them, whether it's true, whether it's going to help them, if they don't feel that you understand where they're coming from, if they can't truly feel that you hear and understand them, and then show them the path by modeling it or sharing a story from somebody else, the most true thing is going to just fall flat. And so all it is it's just lip service to make you feel like you know what you're talking about. That's what ultimately I was doing, was just telling people what they need to do and not showing them, not bringing people along that path, bringing people along that process. And so for us to connect with people, to bring a transformation in their lives, to help people, to influence people, to establish yourself as an expert and an authority, you need to tell more stories. You need to share and show people with the words that you say, visually when you can, what you're talking about, not just tell them. And when you can do this, you're able to create a real lasting connection with people, a real connection where people feel heard, understood, and they are more willing, more open to take action on the thing that you are asking them to do. Listen, I have a client that I was working with for 9 months. We were trying to get them to take action on a process that I was telling them I was mapping out. As soon as I took hands off, stopped just telling them what to do, stopped just telling them, hey, we need to do this, and started actually listening and saying, hey, what if we tried here? What if we tried this? And started to help them make the decision for themselves. Started to help them connect with it. Like the decision, the decision wasn't just me telling them, it was their decision to make. That's when things started to happen. And that all started by sharing more stories. I started sharing stories. Okay, well, when I was working with in this situation, we did this. Maybe we should try that. And they were like, okay, more open to do that. For 9 months, I was telling them, hey, we should do this. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do this. And it was like a brick wall, kind of. It was kind of frustrating, right? And they were frustrated because we weren't getting any headway with things. And so as soon as I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to stop just telling them the facts of what to do. Stop just telling them what needs to happen because that's clearly not working. And just started connecting, sharing stories. Showing them what needed to happen. Showing them what happened in this situation where we did this. Oh man. Progress after progress after progress. Things started clicking. The team started performing. Things started operating in a way that was more fluid, and results started to happen. Results started to happen. And so, just try this out. Your customers don't just want to be told what to do. Your prospects don't just want to be told what you can do and to buy from them. They want to see it, they want to hear it, and they want to understand, how is this going to help them? How is this going to help them get more results? Absolutely. People don't want unsolicited advice. It makes them feel stupid. It makes people feel like, okay, you're a know-it-all. It makes people feel like you don't understand them. And I'm sure you feel that way when other people do that to you. So that's why we have to look inside and say, man, if I, as somebody that loves facts, but doesn't like to be just told what to do and condescended and, somebody being a know-it-all to me, how much more are my customers and prospects the same exact way that I am? That's when things I realized that. I was like, whoa, okay. I'm doing the very thing that I hate when people do to me, and I'm appearing a certain way. And so as soon as I shifted that, everything started to open up and change. So we need to stop utilizing just what we're doing for self-validation. Many times when we're insecure about, if we know how to do something, we're insecure about if people are going to trust us or like us or that. We can come across in a way that we don't mean to be. No one means to come across as a know-it-all. But we can do that. You might think that people do mean to. It's just they want to be heard as well. And so when people can tell that you're just trying to make them hear you and you're not hearing them, it's like putting two ends of a magnet together. They repel each other all the time. So try this. Start to understand where people are coming from. Tell more stories. Don't just tell people what to do. Don't just throw a bunch of facts at people and expect them to grab onto it. Start to show people. Start to share examples with people. Start to share stories with people of how this worked for you and others. And ultimately, the best is become a model of what you're telling people. Become a model for people, a role model for people of the example that you're telling them. Walk the talk that you're talking. Become a product of your product and what you're telling people. And that will connect people, start to build relationship, and you'll resonate with the ones that this connects with. It'll also repel the ones that you're not supposed to work with. And that's one of the best things you can do. Is when you repel people that you never were supposed to work with, you can really find the ones that you are supposed to work with. And everything starts to open up for you in your business and in your life when you start to do this. So grow your life, everybody. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.